Welcome to the second section of my video. In this section, we want to import the data sets, clean it, and carry out some transformation. The data sets I'm working on, we want to use is actually a real estate data for a location in India called Gugan. It's a CSV file. Now I want to open my Power BI. My Power BI has been opened. Now we want to import our data, the data set, using the get data tool. This is the get data tool. I'm going to select it to import my data. Is a CSV file that has been selected. So now I'm going to select my file. The file has been selected. This is the file. I've opened it. It's still loading. My data set has been uploaded. It has been loaded. So now I want to transform my data. Go to the transformation, to the transform data. I'll select the transform data. This is the transform data. The data transformation is actually carried out in the Power Query editor. So I'll be using the Power Query editor to transform my data. The first thing I need to do in transforming my data is to remove the non-essential columns that are not needed in my analysis and retain the KPI, the key performance indicator. Now I want to select those columns I don't need by left clicking on the column. The description, this is not needed. I'll left click on it. The property type is needed. Okay. This is not needed. You press Control, then I'll right click on it. I will left click on it. Sorry. The transact type, I don't need this. By left clicking on it, you press Control, then you left click, you select it. That is how I'm going to do for all my columns that are not needed. The unwanted column have been selected. The next thing is to delete those columns by right clicking on one of the selected columns, the highlighted columns. Now I've right click on it. As we can see, the drop down panel, we have remove columns. So I want to remove my columns. So I'm going to select remove columns. Those columns are now deleted. The next thing, another thing I need to do is to remove the units that are added to the area, to the values of the area given. To remove these units, which is the square feet, I'm going to use a transform. When you click on transform, I'll come to replace values. The replace value has been selected. So I'll come to transform, then you select replace values. It has been selected already. Don't forget, I want to remove the square feet that's been added to the value of the area. So I'll enter value to find inside the value to find box. You type it in. That is what I'm looking for. Dot ft. Then you put the point as well. This is what I'm looking for. Then I'm going to replace with empty. So I'm replacing it with empty because I want to remove it. So you press OK. As we can see, it has been removed. The square feet has been removed. This will actually make my values, those values can actually make me to be able to change the type to whole number instead of the text it was before. But we are still going to get there. But for now, let's continue with our cleansing before. The next thing is for me to check the quality of all my data, of my columns, by going to view. I'll come to view, select view, then check column quality. This will show the percentage of the missing data in each columns. So as you can see, this is 100% complete. In this case, we have 13% that are empty. 13%. That is a little bit much. This is 100%. This is 7%. I need to remove this. This will not distort my data if I remove it. So to remove it, I will you select this small arrow that is pointing down in this in the column where you want to filter out the null or the empty column or the blank, the blank. So here we're having the null. So I'm going to filter it out by unchecking it, then press OK. As you can see, the null has been deleted. Then I'm still going to continue my search. If there is still any other columns that are having maybe empty or none, I'm going to filter it out so that it will not affect my data by the time I start my data visualization. So you can see null again, it has been filtered out. This is just 1%. So definitely it's not going to affect my data. So I'm through with that. Continue my search. Empty data. This is 5%. So I need to remove this. Where I'm having empty data. This is blank. It has to be deleted. It has been filtered out for me to be able to have a clean data. I've done that already. Then continue my search where I'm having data that are empty. I'll keep repeating the process. Anywhere I'm having null or empty data, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to filter it out. So that is how the null and the blank are removed. Then for the photo URL, I'm having 12% of missing data, of empty data. In this case, I don't want to delete it so as to not distort my data. The best thing I can do is to replace it with unknown so as to retain the quality of my data. So to replace the empty data, I'll come to transform. In the transform section, I'm going to select replace. So the same way we did in the other time, don't forget value to find is actually the empty row where we're having the empty data. Then I want to replace it with unknown. So I'll type unknown inside to replace this unknown. You press in the value to find, you press shift. So this has been activated. Then I'm going to replace it with unknown. Then press OK. Sorry, I'm coming. Sorry. So I want to try it all over again. Select the column where the empty data is. Then I'm going to transform. After selecting transform, you go to replace values. Then replace value to find empty. That's a interspace. Then replace with. I want to replace with unknown. So this time around, it will work. So with unknown, then press OK. Let's check. It's not yet activated. I want to try once more. Unknown. And press OK. So then after that, after it has been removed, the next thing is to duplicate my table to divide my table into the dimension tables and the facts table. So I'm going to duplicate my table by right-clicking on it. Then you press duplicate. So this is a duplicate. Then I'm going to remove those columns I do not need in this particular table. Then rename the table to the dimension table, the name I want to give to the dimension table. So for the first one, a dimension table, I want to remove those columns I do not need for this dimension table. So I'll select, just as I did previously in deleting my columns, I'm going to repeat the same process. Select those ones I do not need, then delete them. So the first one, the property ID is needed. So I'm going to retain that. Then I'm going to select other columns and delete. So after selecting those columns, I'm going to delete them by right-clicking on it, then select remove columns. So those columns, they have been deleted. Then I'm going to replicate the table again to create another dimension table. But before then, so the next thing is to rename the column, the new table I created, sorry. So I'm going to right click on it, and then select rename. So for this is my building dimension table. Is actually this column, this table is created based on my KPI question. And the next one, I still need to create more tables. So I'm going to repeat the same process, the same way I created the building table by duplicating this, which is the first table. I'm going to duplicate it, the original table. So once I duplicate it, I'll remove those columns that I do not need as well by selecting them and then by clicking on it, then delete. So I'll keep doing that till I finish creating all my tables. Now, before going far, I forgot to do something. Let's go back to the first table. I forgot to change the type. The type needs to be changed as well before duplicating. So let's go back to our table, the first table, and start the duplication process. So for this, I want to duplicate this. Let's for this is okay. If, for you to change the type, you come to where the column is, the column title. Beside the column title, you can see this icon ABC. This is telling us is actually a text, which is correct. It's actually okay. But this is okay as well. Then we have to check all our columns to make sure the data types are actually correct. This is a whole number. You can see 1, 2, 3. It's telling us is a numeric number, which is actually okay. Then we have the price per unit area is okay. The facing, age, okay. The floor, now we need to change the floor number, needs to be changed. Selecting this, okay. Okay, the floor number has been changed. Oh. No, exactly. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay. Um, floor number. Okay, it's okay. Listing, they're all okay. I want us to check the dates, the dates, the registration dates. Registration dates. So I'll come here and change it to dates. So date needs to be changed. So now I'm through with my table. This is my fact table. Then the remaining tables are my dimension tables. I have the building, the dates, the landmark, the location, the properties, and the brokerage. So for the fact table, it actually comprises of my numerical data, while the remaining contain my categorical data. So the next thing after the cleansing and the pre-processing have been done, the next thing is to go back to my Power BI desktop. So I'm going to click close and apply. So you select close and apply. So we are now back at my Power BI, the Power BI desktop. So you can see the tables that have been loaded at the data pan, the right hand side of the Power BI desktop. Brokerage table, the building, the facts, the landmark, the location, the price, and the properties. Now we are good to go for data visualization in the next section. Thanks.